1. Disclaimer. This file deals with sensitive topics. If you are sensitive to sensitive topics, do not proceed. 2. Purpose. In this file, I intend to prove the following things beyond any shadow of doubt. TommyB, the manager of a roleplay server, Red County Roleplay, at best due to great negligence, had for the past 11 years had rules in place which allowed people under the age of consent to engage in sexual activities. TommyB or TommyB's volunteer staff had gone through great lengths to scrub all evidence of this, including changing their forum threads by deleting the thread Age of Consent Act and editing the thread called Under the Age of 16 Roleplay Rules. TommyB upheld a ban against me for mocking the Age of Consent Act, which allowed people under the age of 17 to legally have sex if they were married. 3. Context. I imagine some of you who may be watching this are unfamiliar with what roleplay is. Let me give you some context. Roleplay is all about acting out a fictional role. Most commonly in fantasy settings, but sometimes in modern realistic settings as well. Red County Roleplay, a multiplayer server ran by TommyB, has for over a decade been running a mod for the game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas called San Andreas Multiplayer or SAMP, which allow people to play in multiplayer. 4. Narrative. How did I find out about the problematic nature of Red County Roleplay's rules? Well, to be honest, had I known earlier, I would have raised the issue with TommyB, and if neglected, I would have refused to even partake in Red County Roleplay. The way I came to find out was when I was roleplaying one night, just sitting in the park, when another character approached my character and began a flirtatious conversation. I was concerned at first because I realized the other character looked young. The other character admitted that she was 17, but mentioned something that piqued my curiosity. That Red County had the age of consent of 17. This surprised me, since I had always assumed the age of consent to be 18. Therefore, I went on the forum right away to check, and I found a specific fictional law within the Red County server that was titled the Age of Consent Act, which meant something along the lines of: the age of consent within Red County is 17 years old. The exception to this is in the cases of marriage, in which case the age of consent may be lower. I found this to be ridiculous and mocked that rule. Though the 17-year-old character was technically within the age of consent, I told them to wait until they were 18 before taking anything serious. 5. Conflict. At this point in time, I was yet to be aware of the problematic rule, which allowed people under the age of consent to have sex. But I would soon be made aware of it, as by June 15th I would be permanently banned from Red County Roleplay, accused of something which I would never in my life do, but something that TommyB has objectively been doing for the past 11 years. Such an extreme reaction led me to an investigation, when I went to retrieve the Age of Consent Act and found that the page for the thread was deleted. It was clear to me at that point that either TommyB himself or his volunteer staff were getting rid of the evidence. However, they fucked up. As while they got rid of the in-character law that made 17-year-olds and people under the age of 17 in cases of marriage of age of consent before I could screenshot it, they did not remove the out-of-character rule which allowed 16-year-old characters to engage in sexual activity until June 17th. This gave me an opportunity to screenshot it. 6. Conclusion. While my character mocked the age of consent laws that allowed married 16-year-olds to engage in sex and insisted that a 17-year-old, despite being of age of consent, waits until they're 18-year-old before engaging in sexual activity, for the past 11 years, TommyB had a rule in place which allowed 16-year-olds, regardless of marital status, to engage in sexual activity. In other words, at best, through great negligence, TommyB for 11 years allowed characters under the age of consent to engage in sexual activity on his server. With the knowledge I have now of TommyB, I cannot recommend anyone to play or to associate themselves with Red County Roleplay. Thank you for your attention.